Hi listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to Upptalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say Upptalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it. Let's investigate SAP, a well-known enterprise resource planning system, and discover its many functionalities and business applications.
So let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Tran Krishna. I have 8 years of experience in SAP and I have handled around 3 implementation projects in ECC, 2 implementation projects and 2 implementation projects in GRC in my tenure. And I got a chance to work on different applications like ECC, GRI, GRC, and now all the latest applications such as S4, HANA, HANA-D, BIS, AC, IPS, you name it. Like we have all the cloud applications in our stack, and they have implemented end-to-end in 2 to 3 projects in my current company. So that is my experience. So I'll be covering HANA and DB security, as you all might know already. So let me give you a quick demo. I think you guys have already finished the SAP basis. So I would assume that you're good with the SAP terminology, or at least you have some basic idea about what SAP is. Sure, if we get stuck, we'll ask you there and then only. Sure. I would expect you to have at least a basic knowledge of how SAP GUI screen looks like, or SAP theory front end looks like. I think I expect you to have some basic idea about it. So you guys already have some experience in database side. So I would not think that you guys might have any difficulty in understanding this course. SAP stands for Systems Applications on Products and Data Processing. So SOSAN is an ERP tool. And what is an ERP? ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. So SAP ERP is basically a tool which helps an organization in dealing with its business. So, as you might already know when they're liking basis, they might have given you this info, but I'm reiterating the same thing. What is an ERP and why does a business need it? Basically, you have to understand this. So ERP is an enterprise resource planning. In the abbreviation itself, you can understand something about it. Like, it allows an enterprise to plan how they are going to do their business, basically. So in this world, like time is money, in the business it's always time. Time is equal to money. So everywhere, what is to happen? There used to be a decentralized way. Like, let me give you an example how the things used to be there. Like if there is a company that sells bikes or scooters of that sort, what used to happen? A customer used to visit the company or not. The company itself, like the vendor you sell this bike or scooters, and what the vendor used to do. Vendor usually contacts the inventory, and inventory, like the inventory guy, checks whether there is an amount of stock, so that he can deliver the product to the end user or the customer. If not, the inventory guy used to place an order to the manufacturing department, and manufacturing department, if there are amount of raw materials that is required to manufacture a bike, they will automatically manufacture the bike and deliver it to the production department, and production department will in turn deliver it to the vendor. But if suppose there are no raw materials with the manufacturing department, they have to again procure these raw materials. So this is called a decentralized way of doing. So what happens here? A lot of time is wasted. So if a lot of time is wasted, what might happen? You might lose the business, like you might lose your customer because some other guy who is using a centralized system where he has all the data in under one roof. Like he can, in a single glance, you can see whether he has all the raw materials or whether what is the inventory, like how many bikes are there in his inventory and how many bikes are available to be provided to the customer. Like that, the people will have all kinds of data in one place. That is nothing but centralized system. So all the departments in a business are connected into one single system called the centralized system. You have all the data under one roof. So in centralized, this ERP like SAP is introduced for the same case. Like you have many ERPs in the market which provide specialization for each module. But SAP is such an ERP which provides you the specialization with all the modules that you need for running a business. So you might ask me, like with SAP, using SAP, can I design a new application? You cannot application itself. SAP itself is a tool which helps you with your day-to-day business. It's not as if it's not like Java or any other programming language. SAP is just a tool which is used to help your business. So this is the basic of what SAP does. So there are different kinds of consultants in SAP. I don't want to go into it because it's a different topic. That will be going into ECC and SS4HANA for that. But coming to coming to SAP HANA, it's a bit different. Let me quickly start with the intro. So guys, have you heard about SAP HANA before? And what SAP is? This you just corrected yourself saying that instead of S4 HANA, you said SP HANA. Are they too different from one another? HANA is a core system. It's just like an ECC system, like ECC is being transitioned into S4. In EC you have G, I. In S4 you have P, I. P, R. I is your front-end system, S4 will be your back-end system. But in ECC you only have GUI, that is GUI graphical user. Correct, that is ECC. You is your ECC. And PR is yours for HANA. Understood. And SAP HANA is your database. Here what used to happen earlier, when ECC was there, people used to have this Oracle database. On Oracle database, you used to have your application like application layer used to interact with Oracle database and Oracle used to be the main database. Later on, SAP has created its own database, which is SAP HANA database, which you are going to see in Azure. Is HANA, is they created or they acquired a company? No, they have not acquired. It's their own technology. They might have acquired some pieces, but not the entire thing. So HANA is basically the proprietary product of SAP. SAP is very much proprietary product of SAP. So you asked us about HANA. So HANA, we know the basics that it's a database learns on a Unix operating system in our environment. It's a SASE Linux. It's an in-memory database. The transactions are very fast, and that's how it differentiates with most other DBs like SQL or Oracle or PLSQL because it's an in-memory database. And that's why it requires a lot of memory to operate. What is in memory? And have you heard anything about row-based search and the column-based store? Something like that. Rows and column-based stores. We are aware of the rows and columns, but in other database, in context of HANA specifically, no. So there is a major difference here. Coming to the difference between your Oracle database and HANA database is that in your native database, what used to happen in your traditional database, like the row-based search, used to happen in the data, which will take a lot of time. So when it comes to in-memory database, which is your HANA database, instead of going with the row-based search, it employs a search called column-based search. It speeds up the search quantity because columns generally tend to be less than rows. And also, as you said, it's an in-memory database. In-memory database is nothing but all the data that you need, all the raw data that you need is loaded into your RAM, which is random access memory, for instance. So for this, SAP HANA gives you lags of TB of RAM so that you can do your operation instantly in your in-memory database. It's like what happens basically is that it's a temporary memory. You're basically uploading all the data you want into this temporary memory, with that is RAM, and you're performing your activity there. Once you have your output, you're saving this output into the database. And once you save your output in the database, that's a temporary memory. You're not saving the data forever in the RAM. You're bringing that data into the RAM for a moment and you're performing your activities. And you're getting the output, you're saving it into your database, and that's it. And the comparison between a traditional database and then when you compare the traditional database with SAP NNA, the difference is huge. If a calculation takes some X amount of time, then in your traditional database that the calculation will be over within no time in HANA DB. But it's very quick. It's a hidden memory database, both data in raw and column store. And as you said, it is faster than the traditional database. So these are the key things that we can say about SAP HANA. That's very good. I think you are already working on it. We don't work as such on HANA DB to move transports and stuff like that. Some preliminary commands, sometimes we have to run when the basis team tells us we execute. Get the input and give it to them. So, and I think I may have missed it. Did you introduce yourself? You did. If you don't mind, can you please introduce once more? Because I think I may have missed that part. If you don't mind, I'm sorry. So I've been doing this multiple implementation projects as well as AMS projects. AMS is nothing but support projects. I have around 8 years of experience. So is cybersecurity. Does SAP Security also is part of the AMS in general, or which team generally from the SAP roles takes care of SAP Security? There is a dedicated team for security. Like earlier, security used to be part of basis, but now security is a different team. And it has its own different certification now. Yes, it has their own different certifications. I am personally certified in GRC, S4HANA and IAG, which is an upgrade for GRC. If you might know, you are into the cybersecurity space. So GRC is nothing but governance, risk, and compliance. So basically, your overall experience is within the SAP landscape. And from the last few years, you have also started doing SAP Security because now it has been taken out of the basis role. Correct. Now from beginning onwards, I'm into SAP Security. So do you have like any other? Do you have also background in generic cybersecurity? No, I don't know. So basically you're saying that security is very different than your cybersecurity. We have a cybersecurity link to it. Like we have a conference called Vulnerability Management, but like I'm not. But SAP Security can be classified under the cybersecurity of the organization as well. I'm just trying to understand the terminology that SAP Security is related to the cybersecurity landscape that generally companies have and whether or not it falls within the framework of GRC, which you mentioned. So, application security and cybersecurity are a bit different, but ultimately, application security also falls under the cybersecurity. Understood. So, as part of your security role, do you generally also take part in penetration testing of SAP applications deployed on other? What testing? Penetration testing. No, we don't do it. We don't do any penetration testing. Understood. So, but you are aware that there are people who do the penetration testing on the SAP front. Those guys are also generally the SAP trained experts. So they are like generic cybersecurity guys who have been trained with some screens and then they just try their regular methods of. They take help of security team. If at all something is needed from us, they will usually take our help and they will do this actually. But it is very less. Understood. Understood. Please carry on. Do you know what HANAN stands for? No, no, we don't. So HANA is your high performance analytics appearance. That is its full form. You guys know that you have good knowledge actually. I think it will not be very difficult for you to complete this course in 10 sessions. I was doubting it. High performance analytics application. Appliance. It's not application, it's an appliance. It's the same but. So that is what it is. Where is N here? November. It's high performance. It's high. So it's high performance analytic appliance. So where is N here? So N is analytic. HANA high analytic, high performance analytic. Understood. So what is HANA in total? HANA is high performance analytic appliance and SAP is a system, application and products. Why am I calling it an appliance in the first place? Understood. So appliances, because I think it requires its own hardware. You cannot deploy this on other hardware because when we bought the hardware for these, very good, good man. So whatever you said is exactly. I was about to say the same thing. What else is there? Operating system. These operating systems. Does this really have to be SUSE Linux or it can be any flavor of Linux? It can be Red Hat or SUSE or it can be HPE. That thing is taken care of by base system actually. But as far as I know, it can be only SUSE Linux. So let's not go. It has to be SUSE Linux only, not Red Hat. So this is the thing. One thing, Siravan, this SUSE Linux that we installed, it's a proprietary version of Unix. and we need to procure the license for it. When we code, that is totally into basis. They will charge you, like there is a difference. You're using it for a corporate purpose, so of course they're going to charge you and you have to take a proper license. Understood? Of course they're going to use it. So already like you're good with this thing. So that's why I'm calling it an appliance. Basically, it gives you database, hardware and operating system. That's why I call it an appliance. So in total, HENE is what? High performance. And why is it faster than the traditional database? You already understood. Why is it faster? Because it provides data in row and column store. And so that for that reason it is faster than the traditional. So if we go in detail like what does it do? Basically, it gives us the option. Multigrading. HANA works on a concept called multiple parallel processing. They're not good because see HANA has multiple cores. That's like your Intel processor, which has multiple cores and threads in it. Similarly, HANA has multiple cores. So you know what is a core? Cores are of two types, physical and virtual, which is embedded within the CPU and each core. And within the core you have high performance, low performance, high voltage, low voltage cores. In database, a core is logically divided. A core is nothing but a logically divided database which can handle separate set of requests. It's similar to your Intel core, like what you said, but always remember that in HANA, a core is a logically divided database which can handle separate set of user requests. Understood. And how much? How like? If I have to say like how many times it is faster than your traditional database, it is 600 times faster than yours. So basically, you are saying that the core within the HANA database is a logical database within the main database. Correct. Correct. And can serve various purposes. And you don't actually create the cores, do you? Like when you are defining the database, you do not create any cores. You are already served with multiple cores, and these multiple cores will be used by you. So this is by default installation within the HANA. The logical cores come along with the database as well as the database. Understood. And then the database is smart enough to allocate various transactions to various logical cores. Exit. A very intelligent database. It's not like your traditional database. Like you have to create the cores separately, it logically divides automatically. And whatever the data you store, it is compressed. And it is stored in the database called in memory database, which is not what I think. So the hardware, just the hardware. Out of curiosity now say, for example, in SQL we have a stored procedures. Do we have similar things in HANA as well? Are they also called stored procedures? They're also called stored procedures. But we don't discuss much about that in. This is called in memory databases, but let's shortcut of in memory databases IMDb. So what it does, the hardware. So the hardware that we have leads or writes the data and it minimizes to a greater extent, and all the database is stored and processed within the stack, as I said earlier. That is in memory database, basically. So whatever data you have in your hard drive, like it takes the data for a moment into the RAM and it quickly lets you process whatever you want. And the output that you get again stored into your hard drive and column store. I've already discussed. So these are the basic. These are the major differences between your traditional database and HANA database. The suit on HANA, or what is S4HANA, like you have raised this doubt. What is S4HANA? What is HANA Cloud? What is BION? I'll give you a basic intro on that as well, because I was not planning to give this, but since you have raised it, I am going to cover that as well. We call it SOR. Core. HANA Cloud. BION. So these are the things that we have. So what is suit on HANA? That is when HANA migration happens from traditional ECC system that you have. So the front end remains unchanged. However, the back end changes. So this is the advantage of search. Basically, that is suit on HANA is that user don't have to adapt to a new system. Like ECC is a traditional system that we have been using since ages. Since the beginning of SAP, the end users are using ECC. But now what happened? So in order to migrate from ECC to, like many people will not be comfortable in migrating from ECC to S4HANA. S4HANA will have this PRE front end which will have PRE applications. Like applications are like you can relate them to your transaction codes that you have in SAP. Are you aware of T codes in SAP? T codes are the shortcuts for accessing the programs. Actually, like you cannot remember the entire program. So what SAP has done is that SAP in turn has linked a shortcut to this program. So when you execute this T code in backend, you'll be executing some program. Some processing happens and you'll be able to see the screen. That's what it happens. But now these T codes are replaced by PRE applications. PRE applications are more like why PRE has come into the picture. So ECC, you have to use it only in your desktop. Whereas when it comes to your PRE applications, you can use these PRE applications on the go. Like, you can use these PRE applications in your mobile desktop tablet. You have more. This is more user-friendly when it is compared to ECC. But the thing with this PRE application is that now, while transitioning from ECC to S4, now you have to learn like how to use this PRE application. You have to read all the documentation that comes with it from SAP. So you have to be trained on this S4 and you have to start working on it. So it's a bit difficult for people who've been working for 10, 15 years or 16 years on the same application. If you ask them to move from ECC to S4, it's going to be a very tedious task. And trust me, I've been seeing that already because like many trainings will go on SAP Enable now. SAP is providing you the solution as well for this problem. Actually, it is giving trainings on how to enable the already existing users in ECC so that they can work on S4HANA applications, theory applications in order. But see, many companies will not be interested. Before HANA existed, it was ECC, which different databases like SQL, Oracle. ECC used to be there. That used to be the traditional ERP that SAP used to have. But since everything is moving into the cloud, like everyone is moving towards the cloud, SAP had to have its own solution in cloud. For that reason, SAP has developed a solution called Theory. So it has many competitors in the market. So in order to face them, so it had no other option but to bring on Theory into the process. And it has given a, what do you say? It has given an end date that it is going to stop support for ECC. If you're not going to migrate from ECC to SS4, it has given an end date. So these are all the solutions. Whatever I'm saying, these are all the solutions that SAP has given them. You can either use such, that is suit on HANA, or you can either migrate to S4 code, which is going to be your front-end theory system instead of your GUI system. The end users will be working on your front-end system, which is theory applications. So Souch will basically, if you go with so, basically you will have HANA-DB as your database and ECC as your front end. So there is no need to migrate your ECC design into S4 core design. If we use so, is it? If you use so, yes, that is an option. So front end will be ECC and back end can be HANA. That's what you're saying, HANA database. So Oracle, the data which rests in the traditional database can be migrated into HANA-DB. That's what I'm saying. So the migration experts does it obviously like you guys. You guys might have done many migrations from one database to another database. So nowadays everyone is. Go on. Yes, we have done some migration, but from the same flavors of database, like from SQL 2008 to 2012, and then 2012 to 2019, like that. Yes, you have done it. So many people might have done it. So it's a similar thing, but you have to make sure that there has to be this SLT. You might know that which will transform the data from your. So people use SLT. What I have saw, it's a third-party tool. It's a third-party tool. Like I've seen many people using this SLT to transform this data so that all the table data which is there in the traditional database is coming and sitting properly in your HANA database. Like in my previous projects, in 3 projects, implementation projects. What happened in the migration projects? They have migrated the data from the Oracle database to HANA database using SLT. SLT is, I forgot its full name, but it is something transformation client or transformation application. I think so. What it does like, it basically brings the data from the traditional database to the HANA database. Understood? So that is suit in S4 core as I've already explained. You said a suit on HANA. Suit on HANA, so suit is SWT, is it? No, I said suit on HANA. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@upptalk.com.